players.
Ah.
You feel okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So quick turnaround. Tough assignment for you that way, among other ways, right?
Well, this is, for the coaches, probably the most challenging preparation, because with such a short turnaround, and Louisville does so many different things than any of our opponents. So today's practice will be right to the point of the things you have to do against Louisville. And that is, their best offense is their defense. They're sixth in the country in forcing turnovers, and they can turn those turnovers into fast break layups and dunks. And when they do that, there's no defense for that. So first thing we have to do is take care of the basketball. Secondly, they play a matchup zone. It's actually similar to what we did last year, and but it's different than anything we've faced this year. And a lot of the guys that we had last year are gone, so. And someone was asking me about our team, and I said, well, we can be very good in spurts. The challenge has been and will continue to be when you have more players who've not been here and been through these ACC wars. So we have 4 transfers: Sheldon, Angel, Yvonne, and Joe Thomas, who've never faced these ACC opponents before. Then we have 4 freshmen who've never played college basketball before. So when you have basically 8 guys going through everything for the first time, as a coach, you don't know what to expect. You're not sure exactly how the game plan will work. Will we be able to execute it? So, like today, we're going to be going over how we want to attack this particular zone defense. But we're not going to be able to duplicate it, because we played yesterday, we traveled back, got home last night. Manu has a toothache, he didn't sleep at all last night. So we've got to try to keep our guys healthy and mentally and physically prepared. So we can't go too long or too hard today.
You talked after the Georgia Tech game about the huge swings in the level of performance by this team. How much of that stems from just effort, and how much of it is
well, some of it is certainly effort, because that's the one thing you can control, how hard you play each night. But to be fair to this particular team, the difference between this team's and a lot of teams I've coached in the past is we don't have a low post threat. We don't have guys who play with their back to the basket. Even Tanya Jakiri, who's 7 feet tall, is more comfortable shooting a facing jump shot than he is playing with his back to the basket in the low post. And what that does to an opponent's preparation is it allows them to focus on strictly defending perimeter. And our strength is our guard play, and they don't have to worry about someone going inside like an Okafor or a Kennedy Meeks, or even Georgia Tech has Mitchell and Cox, who basically hang around the basket and score jump hooks, things like that. We don't have that. So we don't create enough opportunities off of our defense to create layups and inside baskets. So we're going to be somewhat inconsistent, because three-point shooting is inconsistent by its nature. It's a lower percentage shot than a layup or a dunk.
Have you tried to recruit guys like that play with the back to the basket, and is it just hard to find those players?
It is when you're being investigated by the NCAA. And, you know, there aren't as many low-post players anymore, not even in the NBA. You know, guys like Dwight Howard and Al Jefferson are few and far between. You know, Blake Griffin, guys like that who can really score in around the basket. There's not as many as them anymore, so they are a major priority for everybody. And, you know, Louisville's got their Montrezl Harrell. And, you know, we're not as big and as physical as many of the teams in our league. So we rely very heavily on guard play. And when our guards are right, you know, we can compete with anybody. But as I said, three-point shooting is a little bit trickier. You create shots on the perimeter by getting inside the defense, by getting dribble penetration, or you post feed, you throw it inside, and then that guy kicks it out. Well, when the opponent is not worried about you throwing it inside, it eliminates one of their concerns. It just makes it more challenging.
Where do you stand on the effort part? Because after the Georgia Tech game, you seemed pretty sore about it.
Oh, I thought our effort throughout the Florida State game was very good. And I thought our guards did a terrific job on their point guard and two guard. You know, Rathan Mays came into the game and had been averaging 19 a game in the previous 5 games. He only had 5. Booker was averaging 11 a game. He had 0. But Florida State's strength is their big guys. They really can post you up and punish you in the paint. And they got Tanya Jakiri in a little bit of foul trouble, and they were able to score against our big guys.
So the effort now, it's just a matter of bringing that every night.
Well, you know, effort should be a given every night. Do you have 100% of your energy every single day? No, none of us do. I mean, we played yesterday, and we're going to play tomorrow. Now, that's a very quick recovery. I've got to find out from our strength and conditioning coach if our guys are fully recovered. We have this new Omega wave that lets us know if someone's recovered well enough to go 100%. And if they're not, they're going to need more rest today. So we'll see.
Coach, do you think that comes with the opponent? You know, you're talking about energy. It seems like the guys have more energy when they play these, you know, top-tier teams in the conference, but see maybe that energy level's going down against, you know, the Georgia Techs and maybe the teams that aren't ranked so high in conference.
Well, you know, that might have been true against Georgia Tech. It certainly wasn't true yesterday. You know, Florida State's our arch rival. We had plenty of energy going into the game, and we played very hard. The difference was in the first half, we shot the ball very well, scored 36 points, shared it, did a lot of good things. In the second half, Florida State's defense really picked up, and they started challenging those three-pointers, making us drive to the basket. Well, on 5 occasions in the second half, from the 10-minute mark down to the end of the game, we got inside the defense and turned it over. And it was like a different guy each time. So we were trying to do the right thing. Florida State's defense was up to the task. One time, Boljanowski blocked the pass. One time we kicked it out. It deflected off of someone's hand and off of us and out of bounds. Another time it was a shot clock violation. We got inside and couldn't find anybody. By the time we did, shot clock expired. And there was another one like that. So you have to give credit to the opponent some of the time. That you know, I don't want to. You know, you watch the tape, you watch the game, and you say, you know what? That was a pretty good defensive play. I watched the Super Bowl, And I watched the Seattle execute a play with 9 seconds left in the first half, and Chris Matthews catches a touchdown pass. And he just used his size over his opponent to catch a pass in the end zone. And the announcers, I know nothing about football, but the announcers made a point that, hey, there's nothing the defense could do because that guy was just bigger. At the end of the game, Butler intercepts that pass into the end zone. Looks like a beautifully executed play, but he reads it right and does stop a touchdown and ends up with an interception. Well, we were Matthews in the first half, and they were Butler in the second half.
What about the very last play? What was the design there, and what was the breakdown?
Well, it's something we do all the time. It's called loop, and it really puts the ball in the hands of a ball handler, Angel or Manu, and they get a ball screen. After a series of touches, though, we wanted to get everybody a touch to feel involved because we had plenty of time to execute the play. And we did. We penetrated and threw it out to Davon. Looked like a very nice shot, but they closed out very quickly. He did the smart thing. He shot faked and penetrated and pitched it to Sheldon, except the defense made him throw it a little bit wider, which took Sheldon out of rhythm. Then Sheldon had to pick it up off the ground and kind of create a shot for himself. And the shot he took, although it was not a great shot, it's a shot he can clearly make. Mm-hmm. And if it had been shot maybe a split second sooner, Tanya might have been able to tip that one in because he was right underneath. At the end of games, what you normally need is just one guy to just make a play, make the shot. And hopefully the next time out, someone will step up and make that shot like Angel did against Florida early in the year, like Manu did against Syracuse a week ago. I mean, you forget, but we've made a bunch of big free throws to win close games. We've made a couple of big shots to win games. We've also missed a shot, or like the other day, it would have been great if they didn't make the little jump hook on the baseline. Tanya was right on the guy. It was not an easy shot, but he made it and put us behind by one. If he had missed that, we got the rebound, then they would have been forced to foul. The games are so close. You look at Carolina versus Louisville. Carolina's up 18. They lose in overtime. NC State trails Georgia Tech. They come back and make a buzzer shot. Virginia's totally in control with 4 minutes to play. Duke goes on a run 11-4, catches them and beats them in the last minute. And Tyus Jones made a huge three from... Everybody's probably thinking, what a shot, great shot. Tyus. It's kind of really what college basketball is all about these days.
Jim, you touched this morning on the ACC call about wanting to see more players step up, that's going to be the big help for Angel. How is Angel handling kind of the slump and the situation that he's in, and how concerning is it to you that maybe he gets into a situation where he starts pressing too much, and then that just makes it worse? Or is he already there?
Well, first of all, Angel is a supremely confident individual. But it doesn't matter how much confidence you have. That's very important, you have to have that. But you have to have the other components going along with you. And what made us so successful at various times this year is the number of different guys who stepped up. So if you look at our Duke game, Manu had 23 to go along with Angel's 24. Earlier in the year at Charlotte, we had Sheldon go off for 30. You have guys who step up and make big plays and big shots throughout the season. You know, we needed one more guy to step up yesterday. Davon was very, very good. Had a great first half and had a very good overall game. Tanya has had games, 13 points, 15 rebounds, you know, things like that. But just need everybody to do it on a consistent basis. Consistency is, it's like everything. I mean, being good once in a while is somewhat frustrating. You know you're capable. But I told someone, I don't know how many of you play golf, but if you watch golf, you'll see, especially the inexperienced golfer, but even sometimes the best professional, one part of your game breaks down. Sometimes it's your driver, sometimes it's your putting game, sometimes it's your short game. And that little difference makes all the difference in the world. You know, you look at it like, well, what's wrong? Yeah, well, for many games this season, there was nothing wrong with our offense. It was our defense. But now, opponents scouting us, putting extra emphasis into guarding certain players. So if today we had won yesterday, someone would be asking Leonard Hamilton today, what happened to Rathan Mays? Why did he only score 5 points? Hey, the opponent played him pretty good. Got a good scouting report on him. The guy who was assigned to him did a great job. And he didn't get the shots that he had been getting against other teams. Oh, he didn't have a big scoring night. Oh, that's us as well. You know, some nights, Angel, he can't do it all on his own. He and Sheldon, they need other guys to step up. One of the things we're still hoping for is that a guy like Ivan Cruz-Ucita, am I stuck on something?
The curtain.
We were hoping he would give us an additional scoring threat. But he hasn't hit his stride yet. We're hoping that'll kick in soon.
You think that's obviously part of not being able to play the first half of the season for him?
It's really awkward for him. You know, sitting there for 16 games, and all of a sudden be thrust right into the middle of the ACC season. And okay, who did he play against? Oh, by the way, Notre Dame. You know, he's at Syracuse. Who was the next? NC State. I mean, these teams are high-level athletes that he hasn't faced before. You don't face those guys in junior college. You don't face them in Spain. All the caliber of teams that he faced, not like these.
There's not a lot of time for dorm storming, and maybe it shouldn't be necessary for tomorrow night's game. What sort of crowd do you anticipate?
We are anticipating a sellout.
So a little different atmosphere than last week.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's, I think, been hard for our guys. The inconsistency of the crowds at home. I think one of the things that happens, I think it's human nature to think when you're doing really, really well, you'll get more and more support. And when you do get that support, like we had against Illinois, and who did we have here earlier? Virginia.
Virginia crowd.
Yeah, we had a great crowd. And then the next week you come home after beating Duke, and it's half empty. It's deflating. But it is not part of Deflategate.
I was going to say.
It has nothing to do with the New England Patriots.
Maybe we need to deflate the basketball just a little.
What is the air pressure on the basketball?
You see, but what we'd have to do is deflate it and then inflate it as the other team got it. And then see, like in football, the games are so different because you have an offensive team and a defensive team. You have an offensive ball, and an offensive ball. They're two different balls. One team uses their own ball and you use your own ball. That's pretty cool.
And the kickers have their own ball.
And the kickers have their own ball. So, do they pump it up more so it goes further?
So do you think you might get, I mean, do you know, are you gonna get a good crowd tomorrow night? You anticipate? Yeah.
Top 10 team. That's one of my goals before too long is that people don't come to watch the opponent, they come to watch us.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.